Alright, hello. Welcome to Warcradle Wednesday. So, I've been thinking about trying to get a bit more structure with the streams, and so I thought, because I do a lot of sort of like reviews and unboxing for Dystopian Wars and Armoured Clash, that I'd actually have the Wednesday as a day for such hobbies of working with Warcradle stuff. So I've been in the mood for doing some skimmers. So basically these types of ships, because we've painted, I painted, you were there, but it was all me. I painted the Vauban last year. And in between that, I've worked on other fleets. So obviously, my Indian faction within the Crown, as well as finishing off a lot of the Crown ships that I had outstanding still. As I said, the Indians, the Crown. There was a few Scandinavians that I still had to do as well, and so I cracked on with them. Oh, the Italians. My Italians of the Alliance, so I've got a nice, decent art fleet of Italian warships for games, and because the Alliance are made up of several countries, the French section, which the Vauban is part of, and also the Courion, which is their sea-based carrier. I've built and painted both of them, but I haven't done the support ships for them. So that's going to change, because we have a lovely armada of skimmers. And so we're looking at these at the moment, the ones that are B, which is the Chasseur, which can also be built as the Furieux and the Voliere. So I'd say 60% drawn to the Chasseur, which is the cheaper of the sort of like skimmer warships, and because it's got a rolling broadside, whereas the Furieux does not. But the Furieux has the ability to attach to flagships, so it's a sort of, you can sort of winkle that in as part of that sort of unit, as it's one unit sort of thing, so it's got a little bit of protection. Or we just go with two Chasseur, because I've still got obviously the skimmers that are in the other box set, and then when I get round to doing the Dieppe class, I'm actually thinking for them of doing the Marseille class, which is a support carrier. So it's nice to have a good mixture, so I think. So it's not all one way. So we've got a carrier, plus you've got support, but then you can also have other carriers as well, because the Alliance do have some of the best planes in the system. So you've got the Frelon, which are these here, which is their bomber. You've also got the I think it's the Mezzanine, which is the fighter. So they've got a little additional flavoursome rules for them whenever you're deploying said ships. So that's the plan. So as you can see, that's the Furieux there, which is not wanting to focus. Which comes with a heat lance and then little things, but it has no broadsides. So the Chasseur is the base one, which is basically the Chasseur class, I guess. But the Furieux have the ability to attach, so you can have one attached to the Vauban, so it just gives an extra punch when activating, because you activate that unit. Oh God, it's the French. Well, I built all the Italians, so I had to go with these because I've been thinking about a skimmer battle fleet, which the Vauban, which I will use as the character ship, which is the La République, because the Vauban is actually a flying version. La République is a skimmer, and there is a difference, as you already know. So I just thought, well, seeing as they've got a lot of skimmers, I'll go that way. So that's the plan. That is the plan, and the plan is going to work, he says. So that is what I believe in. There are the sprues for the what should we call it? The dieps. So they're the ones for the dieps, sorry. So I've got 2 of the dieps there. I've got the little Honteur, or whatever they're called. What are they called? The Honneur. The Honneur, which are sort of a destroyer, I think, or like skimmer destroyer. So you've got 2 of them per sprue. So we've got, I'm going to have 6. I'm going to have 6 of them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, so there's only 1 of them per sprue. Fine. Okay. Because you had to use some of the Diep class stuff to actually go on to the Vauban. Because that's the thing, you had to mix between kits. So you've only got 2 sprues to do the chasseurs, or the other ones, whatever you want to call them. So 1 piece hull. So these will be easy to build, at least. Half the battle was won with the 1 piece bottom. Glorious. So yes. So if I just get, oh, and you may have seen on thingies where, so these are the Crown Horse Cavalry that I painted for, you know who, Armoured Clash. So I kept with like a sandy kind of base for these, would stand out better. I looked at a couple of different grasses, but they just weren't really doing it for me. So all red tufts. So the helmets are based on Horse Guards, Life Guard, I think it is, of like the sort of Victorian era. So unlike their modern day counterpart with their silver helms, nicely polished silver helms and red plumes, they had white. Because obviously in heraldry, white represents silver, and obviously it's a lot easier to maintain, I guess, than having to polish your helmet. Right. So pop down now, get some snippers. Get some glue, because we're going to need that, aren't we? How are you, Bertie? You alright? What have you been up to? Let's make sure this is not going to be clogged. Unclogging. Let's pull up the assembly guides. So that is, again, it's one of those things where I think they do it really well with Dystopian Wars and Armoured Clash. Having the instructions online, you can just go straight to them on the like Dystopian Wars or the Armoured Clash websites, and just look them up. Oh, look, that's what I need. So you've got that, and obviously you've also got the Orbats, which are updated sort of quite regularly. So you don't have to buy loads of books; it's there for you. And as the sort of the meta, as games are played, and the meta is discovered what's working, what may be OP, what might be a little bit weak, then they can go in and adjust it and change it on there, and they'll basically do a different version. I think you get maybe one a year, perhaps. Like some ranges have got they're on their 6th version, so it gives you they can react to how the game's played. Sometimes, as we all know, in other game systems, sometimes a codex comes out. Obviously, we know who makes codexes, and things can be really OP. And you also wait for the facts to come through, because it is a lot more sort of waiting around, really. But anywho, let's get on with the business of building these buttons. So I'm happy that that's a one-piece hull. My ex was present arrived today, so I'm building my... Oh, you got the Gloriana! That is a sweet ride. Because on Saturday's stream, we have Hendy popped in, and obviously he's getting himself some Dystopian Wars. He had the original one, but obviously once you see the ships nowadays and the size difference and that, you do feel a little bit like, I want the new stuff. Games Workshop have been doing it for decades, but yeah, he's gotten into. I think he's doing the Crown as well. But we had a really long chat on stream on Saturday, and we were discussing about there's a lot of really cool YouTubers that do naval warfare, because I'd fallen into that rabbit hole recently. There was one, I think it's History Undone, and I was watching them talk about the Battle of Jutland. So that's probably like World War One. The battles there are probably going to be nearer to, well, they're obviously near to the timeline of Dystopian Wars. So the Dystopian Wars is, I think, 1870s. Can't remember off the top of my head. So you're on ironclads were turning up and all that jazz back in those days. But because of the Sturgium discovery and the abilities, because the way I reference it is basically Sturgium is like is it adamantium, is it? It's the vibranium that Black Panther and Wakanda has. So it's like, what if Wakanda was worldwide? So because there's loads of Sturgium sites across the world, so obviously all the major powers, all the factions within Dystopian Wars has access and are able to utilize it in the construction of their warships and tanks and everything for war. Hey there, Ben. I'm working on a Land Raider right now in 40k. Salamanders for me. A good chapter indeed, and they were a good legion as well. I used to like back in the old days. There was like one of the. I don't think it was a codex it was in, but it might have been. I don't know. But it was the fact that the Salamanders were the smallest chapter there. I think they only had like 600 or 700 because of the devastation of the heresy. They was never able to fully recover the loss of like Marines and all that. However, because of their small number, they could actually field their entire chapter in Terminator plate, whereas others only had like maybe up to 100 suits of Terminator plate at the time of 40k. But obviously, everything gets changed. Is it Prometheus land? It's not Prometheus, Redeemer, isn't it? The one with the flamethrower, because that's, to me, a very Salamanders-esque ride. Going around with a huge flamestorm cannons. Ooh. Pop that back in. So, base, go. 19 and 20, each of those 2 points. So you can see really quite detailed kits, and you have lots of options on there as well. So you've got like the different like rocket launchers. These are the generators that you can plop in. Heat lances, heat lance set, which is the lighter one. So you've got 4 heat lances on there, yep, and 2 heat lances. There's also a submarine here. So Yep, the Redeemer was my second one. I'm a great believer in doubling up, because obviously, having one of a thing is good, but what's better than having one is having 2. And it's always good to have them for any eventualities. Plus, it's double the threat. So when your opponent looks across the battlefield, they're going to go, don't like the look of that Redeemer, want to get rid of that. Oh, wait, there's 2 of them. Joy. Makes it twice as hard. So that way you've got a chance of getting at least one of them into a hot situation with the enemy, which is always nice. So that's, I think I've always done that since returning to the hobby, because I left it in the 90s, came back in 2001 because of the Tau, and also actually thinking about it, it was probably Inquisitor as well, because that was pretty cool. Because when I was out in New Zealand, I was talking about this, I was on there's a Twitch stream, and we was talking about when stuff, like when the longest someone's had a model and not painted it, sort of thing. And somebody mentioned Inquisitor, so it obviously reminded me of the story of me buying a lot of my Inquisitor models out in New Zealand when I was travelling, because the exchange rate was really good. So I was buying them from like 12,000 kilometres away from home, and it was cheaper. And that was buying from a New Zealand Games Workshop as well. So Obviously, the tables are turned now. Magnets are great. I've managed to magnet ties a bunch of my dystopian warships and able to change. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like again, I've only been doing this for year and a half, well, year and 2/3. No, pretty almost 2 years actually. Tell a lie, because I think it was about February 2003, February 2023. Sorry, that I started getting my first kits and stuff, and then obviously being approached by Warcradle to sort of, you know, do reviews and stuff, which I was more than happy to do. That didn't start until I joined them in the April and got my first kits in the May. Because what they do is you'll get, before the pre-orders go up, you'll get an email saying these are the pre-orders and you can make a selection, because there'll normally be like a couple of bits and it'll, like, what's your first choice, what's your second choice, and then it depends on demand from the other sort of people that do all this review stuff, and then you get sent out something. But yeah, so I managed to get my Gloriana in that way, and it was a beautiful thing. It truly is. I love that ship so much. I also like the Tilok Gort as well. That is a really nice model. The Legends of the Crown box set with the Nautilus. What are we looking for? 26, 27. Right, so 26 and 27 at the bottom, and then 24, 25 at the top. These I did show these off just before you came on. Actually, these are from Armoured Clash. So these are the Crown. If I can get it to focus, I always had trouble with small models and focusing. It was honestly, it was working the other day. It was a bit better. So these are like mechanical horses, lifeguard. I'll tell you what it's actually called. So it's Armoured Clash, Sovereign Battle Group set. Horse Guard Cavalry. There you go. So I painted that up, which was on social medias last month. I've done these the other week, sorry, which are Galahad Breacher tanks. Oh, sorry, Galahad medium tanks, sorry, on them. The ones I've done, I think. You've got your Blackwatch Dragoons and the Mordred Heavy Artillery. But I haven't built them, and I haven't built them yet. So I've done that, and that on there. So you've got the alternates there as well. The land ship, you've got the Cannon version. Sorry about that. Or the one with the St. Paul's on the top, which looks amazing. So yeah, the little cavalry dudes for the basically land-based battle system. So a different scale to these guys, but still cool. So these ones are on the bottom. So the horse guard I'd finished yesterday, and posted up a couple of pictures on Instagram. So they're the first infantry type, or even cavalry, but yeah, infantry scale I've done in there. The tanks have been fine. I said the the Sovereign was awesome. But yeah, these are kind of cute. I put a lot more time into these because there is still a lot of detail on the smaller dudes. So where you compare them to, say, legions, there's less. Like, you know, if you've seen the legions or you saw them when they released, there was like some of them you got a gun and they got a huge chunk of plastic sort of thing. Admittedly, they're small models. You're not really going to notice them on the table, but it is a little bit when you're working on them. These don't have that same thing, so they're a lot cleaner in comparison. Wow, we are blessed, for the Emperor himself, Arch's Empire, has swooped into the chat. How are you, mate? It's a long time no speak. Happy New Year as well. Haven't spoken to you since last year. Strangely enough, I thought about you this morning because, you know, I've said about, I think there's a way I can add you onto this, like to chat via, Discord or something. But I'd need to look it up again, sort of thing, and, you know. But yeah, it would be lovely to have you on because I miss talking to you, my friend. I got my streaming back up though. You have. I did. I saw you come on because you were doing it on Twitter, weren't you? And I saw you pop on, but I was at work, so I couldn't participate, unfortunately, because the boss was about. Sort of frowns upon me doing social media stuff. Doing well and Happy New Year. I see you're as productive as ever. I'm getting there. I did have a bit of I'd say a bit of a slump part way towards the end of last year. So I wasn't doing a lot, especially like October in particular. I didn't do a lot of hobby. And I sort of picked up again in November. Obviously, then Christmas is always a little bit like, with everything. Sorry, this is quite a little fiddly little divot. But yeah, so that's why I've done a bit of changing, like as I was saying at the start, basically trying to make a bit more structure to the hobby things, really. Hobby things, that's a technical term. So we've got Warcradle Wednesday, so you know that I'll be working on Warcradle stuff, be it Dystopian Wars or Armoured Clash, because obviously we've got both of them out and about now, and then doing basically 40k, well, not 40k as such, but doing like Legions Imperialis, Adeptus Titanicus, Gundam on Saturday nights, or Heresy if I get back into doing some of that. I was discussing with some friends like last week that with 40k I have definitely fallen out with 40k a little bit, because it's been over several years that if, for example, an opportunity came up where I had a day off and I could game, 40k would be my sort of like third or fourth choice. So it was like AT was always going to be the first one, then it would be Heresy, but obviously now we've got Legions, I want to get that in there, so they're joint second, and then it would have been 40k. Um, so obviously now we've also got Armoured Clash, and well, actually, no, tell you, it wouldn't have been 40k. It would have been Dystopian Wars. So Dystopian Wars would have been in that second band. So AT top, then Heresy, Legions, Armoured Clash, and and Dystopian Wars. It depends on who was playing, who was available for games, and then 40k. So yeah, it was the bottom. Plus, it doesn't help that I sold my 40k stuff to fund buying a new Titan and car insurance and car service, and a little bit extra left over for more Titans. So for small Titans. So I sold a Raptors Space Marine company, because I had a full Space Marine company of infantry plus some tanks and what have you. And then I sold all my towers as well, which I had a large thing. And the thing was, like, my mate who was sort of speaking to my other mate who bought it all off of me, he was just saying, like, you know, for the price I was asking for, literally, I had, there's no literally about it, I did. It was basically I only charged cost from what I would have paid for it from when I bought it, sort of thing. So not current cost, original sort of cost. So, you know, they got a pretty decent, you know, all painted Tau battle force for him and his boy to enjoy, because he just basically had his like man cave done, and he wanted like a ready to go army. So he got 2 ready to go armies plus some extra bits, because I just chucked in a load of stuff. I'll catch up with the chat. Sorry, whistling. I know I'm going to try streaming later on. Excellent. Okay, so AT is still tops and makes sense though. I started painting some bases and getting ready to finally paint some minis. Going to go with Necromunda. Well, Necromunda's a good game. Obviously, it's probably one of the most supported games that specialist games do. And you've got so much character within the game. So, like, all those like little creatures and all the gangs. And obviously they've expanded it to outdoors as well as just being in the hive. So you've got all the sort of like dudes out in the deserts and the wastes. I'm a huge Catan fan. I've been collecting just about the entire range and been playing a whole lot whenever I can. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, if you've got something that you like, you want to play it. And why not, you know? As I said, I don't play enough. That's my problem. I am sort of guilty where I might get a day come available, but it's probably not the best day for other people, sort of thing. So a lot of the time, because I work weekends, I have to take time off to have time off, whereas my days off during the week, they're 3 days, sort of thing. Well, not all the way, because I'm normally with the kids, but you know what I mean. So it's a bit hard to make arrangements with others to game, but I'm looking forward, because funnily enough, we had Stuart Machinus, not Machinus. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, Machinus. He's one of the head guys at Warcradle. He actually dropped into the stream a few weeks ago, and we was chatting about the new venue that they've got going because they're transferring from their old place to a bigger place, which is probably a little bit easier to get to as well, especially if you're driving in particular. So that's definitely something keeping an eye on. So hopefully within the next couple of months that should be up and running. And he was saying about how they've got all these new facilities and what have you. So exciting times for sure. I want to get my Frenchies done. Probably needed to sell some just to have some more space. Well, yeah, a little bit, but that's the thing. You make. I was going through all my boxes of stuff, and like there was like some boxes which had like I don't even know what it is. It weren't even like proper sort of game, because I was a little bit of a hoarder, thinking I'll keep that because I might use that for making scenery or whatever. So there was a lot of shit. So I did end up binning a lot of bits and pieces, which will, you know, I'm not one to go and do like eBay and all that sort of stuff. Just don't have the time or inclination to do that, unfortunately. Where is the new facility? Well, oh, and you like the background music? Yeah, this is like one of those free ones on YouTube. Valley of Olympus / ethereal ancient Greek mythology ambient music. There's a YouTuber called Athena4, and that's IV4, not 4, or 4, where's my hammer? Athena4 on YouTube, and they do a whole load of, there's like, you know, free to play sort of music. So a lot of the time the music I've got playing is done by them, and this was the first one I found. I thought, oh, that's new because it's 2 weeks old, and I thought I'd give that a go, and here we are. Right, so we got that. What else do we need? 23, which is there. So what gang you going for with Necromunda Emperor? He asks us if it's any easier to get to from Scotland. Well, to be fair, technically, yes, it could be easier for you to get to from Scotland, because you could fly down to Stansted, and Stansted's I would say 30 to 35 minutes away, because you literally come out of Stansted onto the M11 down to the M25, go down 2 junctions, left onto the A127. 5 minutes up the road, bang, on the right hand side. You can't miss it. Well, you can miss it. If you don't know it's there, you wouldn't know it was there. But compared to Hockley, where it was, there had been a lot more driving, a lot more back roads to get to by comparison. You know, for me, it's fine. Like, it's about a 20-minute drive for me from my house. But if the road's a bit crap, then it could be longer. But that's the same with anywhere, really, isn't it? I always hear good things about that game, Ben. I'll try out a Lord of the Rings model. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is quite a good game. I've never played it. Obviously, I did have some of the models from originally released, but they were so small, which is ironic, seeing as I'm doing a lot of Legions Imperialis and Armored Clash. But the models were so small, I was really scared of being able to paint them because my painting level wasn't that great. MESGBBG is what got me into the hobby, Ben. It's consistently pretty great. Yes. I bought the Ash Waste box set, so I have Orlocks, Nomads, and I have almost all the Enforcer mod. Because I can see you being an Emperor, liking to have a lot of Enforcers running around doing thy bidding, no doubt. And sorting out those scum that are in the way and dirtying up your streets of your capital city. Sound about right? And get the RBTs or R-bytes, however you want to pronounce it. There's no right or wrong. Watch any movies you liked recently? I watched for the umpteenth time Dune 2. I probably watched it over the course of 3 weeks, probably around about 3 times really, because I just got inspired to. I was round of friends and we was watching the start of it, and because how the evening had gone, we'd gotten so far and like they were feeling a bit tired, so we thought, well, we've still got we're only an hour in and you've still got a lot to go, so we called it quits for the time being. But I ended up watching the rest of that. Then I decided on a day off to, I think it was over Christmas, I actually watched number 1 and straight into number 2 again, just done a whole the whole thing, and then and then watched, because I like tuning in, so I might miss the start and then just go in a bit further on, and then just watch it to the end. I actually watched, well, it was actually more than that, because I remembered I watched the sort of from twice. Again, this has happened where I've watched from where Paul goes to, he has the water of life, and then from that scene to the end. So I'll go to that when Charlie turns up, and then all the way to the end, because I absolutely love the when he goes to speak to the fundamentalists. That is probably my favourite scene in that entire film, when he's like, there's no one here who could defeat me, and everyone's like, oh, go reaching for their blades. Your mother's warned you of my coming. It's like, Jesus. It was such a great movie, and I have watched that loads. Yeah, it's a great scene. Rebecca Ferguson is great in the movie. They're all great in those movies. Absolutely cannot fault anyone. Like Javier Bardem as Stilgar. It's just how that and then he denies his divinity. Oh, only the Mahdi would do that. Oh, it's just crazy. And I know like all those memes that came out afterwards with Javier Bardem, but he's such a great character. He absolutely nailed that. That's role. That's a career-defining role. I know like it's pretty awesome in everything he does. Like No Country for Old Men as that weird-haired killer, and obviously I first saw him in Skyfall. I hadn't seen him in anything else, so I saw Skyfall. I thought, oh, he's quite good. I liked him in Skyfall. He had that nice bit of sinisterness, but he was a good villain. Actually, one of my friends, I know people. She's a makeup artist, and she knows Rebecca Ferguson because she's worked on the 2 seasons of Silo, which is on Apple, which is another great little sci-fi TV series. If you have Apple TV, it's well worth checking that out. Other things I have been watching, I binged the 2nd season of Rogue Heroes, which dropped last week. Have you seen Rogue Heroes, the 1st season, artist? Or anybody? Has anybody seen Rogue Heroes, which is about the origins of the SAS? Master Mouse. Evening, Princeps. Evening to you too. Welcome, welcome. How are you, buddy? Happy New Year. What are you working on today? Right. I've seen Series 1, need to carve out some time for the new one. Wednesday evening Warlord progress. Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Get that Warlord up and running. We want to see it striding across the battlefield, ripping someone a new one. Rogue Heroes, I've not watched yet, but I will now that you've mentioned it. Evening with Mouse. Yeah, so it's on BBC iPlayer. So if you've got, I'm assuming you've got VPNs to access the BBC iPlayer, but it might be even on BBC World. I don't know. I don't know what it's like from where you are now. So if you go onto the BBC iPlayer, Rogue Heroes, it's there. Enjoy, because it is like it's got a really cool, because they have like modern music. And you have like this old footage, and they're playing like AC/DC sort of thing. That alone really does sort of like get you invigorated and into the thing. But the story they tell, which there may have been some embellishments and stuff, but they do also say like a lot of the stuff that you see in this is unbelievable, but there was a lot more sort of thing. So this is like toned down in comparison, but everything that happens in there is based upon stuff that they know happens. and it is just really good. It's a really good show. And then Rogue Heroes 2 continues it. So you start off in North Africa during the Battle of Tobruk. And you see how the SAS was formed. And that's in itself is actually pretty funny. Evening Hendy, hello buddy. I was talking about you earlier on, your ears must have been burning. Hendy joined me on Saturday night stream, and we were talking for the most part of it about dystopian wars and YouTubers that do naval battles breakdowns and stuff. So I was what did I watch? I've got lined up Drachnafels doing it's an old video, it's about 4 years old, but it's about the Queen Elizabeth class, which was what Warspite was part one of. So I've got that lined up. It's about an hour and a half, that one. He does do long videos. You know, get your teeth into them. Do I go Levant Grand Cruiser, the Furio, or do I go the Chasseur? Alright, hold on. Let's... Alright. I'm going to just look up the Orbat. No, that's the wrong faction. That's the faction. Out Alliance. I went straight to the Crown, because that's where I would normally hang out, with the Crown. So, as I said earlier on, it's just great having everything online. You can download it, print it off, or you just, you know, if you've got access, which most people have access to the internet in one way or another, just call it up, get it on it. Skimming units. Skimming. Right, okay, so the Chasseur. It has focus fire, vanguard, agile coordinated support. It's got a lot of gun batteries, which you can swap out for heat lancets or a heat lance. So that's pretty cool. So 124 points. Oh yeah. I still need to watch the Jutland video. Yes, you do. Magnets, yeah. I'm not doing the weapons. The thing is, the main difference is that it's this section here. Because if you go with the Chasseur, you've got these little gun batteries in there. Or if you go with the Furio, you've got these on there. So you can't really magnetize these bits onto that. I think, to be fair, like most of the guys that you play, like when I have played Dystopian Wars, if I was to say it may be built as a Chasseur, but it's actually a Furio, if they know beforehand, then generally we're going to be fine, because there's not a great deal of difference between the two, apart from cost. And with the Furio, it has like boarding, so it's more, it's like a Chasseur, but it's got less weaponry, but it can do better in boarding actions in particular. So there's that. So I'll go with a shatter, because as I said, I've got another 2 of these, so I could easily do both, really, because there are several ships you can do, but these are going to be, badasses. I believe that's the technical term. Full-on rage monkeys. The Commonwealth got the new thing. Got a Richter Battlefleet set and Crown Starter set arriving tomorrow. Nice. Bertie had his Gloriana turn up today, so he's working on that at the moment. So it's nice. Everyone's getting little presents turn up. Like last weekend, I actually had for Christmas I got some Games Workshop vouchers, and that was a scalpel that got loose. So I used them to purchase some Saber tanks box set for Legions and a Thunderhawk for Legions. So I've got now for my Emperor's children, I've got some sabers and thingy to do, but I'm doing other stuff in the meantime, so I'll go to them when I can. No rush. Not as if I've got any games lined up at present, so I'll just go at my own pace. Night all, good to catch up, Summerlee, and we'll stream soon. Yes, we should. I miss you, Guy. I miss you. If I ever find the git that decided against a resin smokestack for the Gloriana, I'll be having words. Yeah, that's why I like the Tillock Galt. The smokestack on that is actually. You talk about smokestacks on a ship. That's the detail that we like. We like a good smokestack. We'll do like a thing like sexiest smokestack. Oh, you see a smokestack on that one. Oh. It's beauty. Look at that beauty. Nice. I did enjoy that they matched the Tillock smokestack to the Canadian Cruisers ones. Yeah, it keeps the aesthetic, and obviously the prow as well, with the reinforced prow, which is really nice. As again on Saturday when Henry was there, I did a show and tell of of the Crown ships and the Italian and the French carriers. It's like, all right, okay, I'll get these out. Here you go. I mean, the only ones I didn't show off were the Scandinavians, because they're packed in a box separately and there's a load of stuff on it, and I weren't going to start ferreting through that at that time of night. But the other stuff is all in. I've got some clear plastic trays, so the ships that fit in them are in the trays. The ones that don't fit in them are on the shelves. Let's get these front sections done. So it's nice that we've got a few Dystopian Wars captains busy at work. Oh, what was I watching? Hindi. I was. It was about the British fleets in the Pacific, and what they put out there, and the whole, hoo-ha with the Americans. Because we wanted to be obviously considered to be a proper fighting force, and they put out a large contingent, but it was all the logistics and stuff, because that's what all our ships were built in mind for, the Atlantic mostly, or utilising docks and supply bases. But because obviously Japan had captured a lot of them, they were operating mostly out of either India, which is obviously quite a jaunt, or Australia, sort of thing. So they was trying to, the whole sort of trying to get everything locked in, and also because they use different size rounds and stuff, so it was all down to logistics and getting them sorted out. So that was actually quite a good little video. I think it was about an hour long. It wasn't Drakenfels. Who was it? See if I can still find it. Oh no, it was Drakenfell, the British Pacific Fleet Foundation. And then it went. I started watching it, but it was Operation Nagumo, but I didn't finish that. There's another one I started watching, but stopped. Yeah, so there was obviously quite a lot to be getting on with. But yeah, it's fascinating just getting into those and seeing, because don't know hardly anything about naval battles. Obviously, Battle of the Atlantic and the naval ships. Like, I know of like the Battle of Midway, because that was like, as a kid, I really focused. I saw the film Battle of Midway, and was just like, whoa, because you knew of Pearl Harbor, but you didn't know of Battle of Midway. And I started like a little project where I was like researching and collecting information, basically about the carriers. So like Enterprise and like Yorktown. Yorktown was my favourite because it got beaten up at Coral Sea, and then went back into dry dock, and Nimitz was told, yeah, it's going to be out for a good month or two, and he says you've got 3 days. And they got it out to sea again, where it did get blattered, but it was just it was amazing. Back up. I've even managed to get a game in already this year, so I'm already on par with last year. So you've exceeded. You've exceeded. So well done. Also showed some of the Dystopian Wars artworks to my friend. Now she wants to make a resin gaming table for stuff. Nice. Because that's the thing. It's like you've got you've probably seen like you've got islands and archipelagos. I can't remember to pronounce the words. So you can get those little islands. So they would be really cool to get some islands made up with like little like air bases on, or little harbours, because that would be really cool. Because I've seen a lot of people doing their own scenery, like with like foam, styrofoam, builder's foam, cutting it out and then putting like using like 40k like epic stuff on there to sort of represent the thing. You know what? That thing. Oh, she was a clear resin board with a fully detailed seabed. She's mad. That is bonkers, and I approve. Because why the hell not? I'm going to stick some spare carrier decks and cranes on a few of those spaces. See? Everyone has their plans, because there's always those bits left over that you can do stuff with, so why not? Why not indeed? Hold on. Oh, I missed a bit. 28. That bit. I still haven't got myself actually a gaming mat. I keep on like, I was at UK Games Expo and I thought I must look around, see if there's any like nice gaming mats I can get for Dystopian Wars. And I never actually, the only thing I bought at UK Games Expo was my Predator mask. Which, if you bear with, I'll show it to you. Seeing as the hair's down. So I was walking around UK Games Expo with this thing on. I literally was walking around with the Kierans from the Kieran show and Miniature Noodle, who I met up there, and we was going around looking at all the stalls and that. And I wasn't going to buy anything. I thought, no, I just wanted to find a mat, but I couldn't see anything. It was like overwhelming. And as we were walking along, I saw a stall that was selling lightsaber handles, like prop weapons, and they had Predator masks on it. And I saw this, and I thought, I'm having it. It was only 30 quid. It was well worth it. So, yeah, it's all. Polish that. But yeah, I actually really like that. I was going to actually paint this bit actually, but yeah, that's cool. So yeah. Full resin pour board, yes. Yeah, she loves giant terrain products. She wants to start a YouTube channel with a terrain projects. So, just as yeah, well, that sort of thing. That's going to be quite popular because everyone likes to find out how to do those sort of things. And you say, just having that sort of content, because everyone's about painting, right? You know, you do get some sort of like specialist painters and all that, but you don't get a lot concentrating on scenery. So yeah, it's worth doing, especially like if you're focusing like on different games for different boards and all that sort of thing. So yeah, tell her I said do it. I demand. So that is one chasseur. Quite a little funky little ship. Obviously, well, to be fair, I've been talking a lot. So, yeah, for 30 quid, exactly, for 30 quid, I thought, I'm having it. You know, I love Predator, the movies, and obviously Prey. I think they're doing a Prey too. I'm not sure. The other thing I heard today was that they've remade The Running Man. So Glenn Powell is playing The Running Man. Whether or not it's the same character as Arnie's character, they might have just, like, you know, started up the game again. Right. So yeah, so we've got the gun battery. So 4 gun batteries there. A couple of rockets, heavy rockets at least. 2 heat lances, 4 heat lance sets, and the fighter SRS, and a sub, which yeah, that's the Epilard. Yeah, because I was looking at that, I thought, oh, I recognise that, and then I saw that, I thought, oh, I recognise that, because it's very similar to the I think it's the Sagittar, which is the Italian one. So got that on there as well. Nice. Right. So put that to one side. We'll get the other one done. Skim. Right. Oh, now I'm dropping my clippers. So just a message from my daughter. So she was just telling me that she's received some offers for university. So I'm just letting her know that I'm a very proud dad. She's a clever little button. Much cleverer than me. She don't do Warhammer. I think we can all agree that is wise. Wouldn't wish this on anyone. Getting involved in war games. So just got to do her, finish off her second year of A-levels, get some good results, and then go with the one that she wants to go with. Thank you, Bertie. I was actually on, I was talking about her on today on Millie Paint's stream. So I nipped in there at lunchtime when she was streaming. And so it was basically the conversation got over to sort of like Millie being was a teacher, and also being like on the spectrum and stuff like that. And I just said, oh, my daughter's the same. She loves maths. She's on the spectrum and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, now today she's heard back from 4 of the 5 that she applied to with offers. Obviously, it's like, you know, as long as you get the results. But, you know, it's nice that she's actually doing good work, and hopefully she'll get to go to the place she wants to go to. I'd say War Games had no effect on my uni career, but I'd actually given up the hobby over uni. Cheers, Andy. Thank you, Ben. So, I say she's done it, you know, and she's got autism. Because honestly, like, me and her mum, we weren't exactly academic as such, you know. We both went to college, but that was about it, sort of thing, and got our results and stuff, you know. But we remember, and we always say about this, like, you know, it was just one day, like, we were like getting her sort of test results from like school and all that, and you're going, how are you so clever? You know, we couldn't, honestly, because we looked at each other going, she doesn't get that from me. And her mum going, didn't get it from me. And then we found out that obviously she's on the spectrum. So I would say she's probably similar to because they don't have Asperger's there, it's all autism, but it's more like Asperger's, that sort of end of autism where you get focused and you know what's what and you just do it. So that's why she's really good at like maths. She loves economics and business studies, and she's taking history as a 3rd A-level, and that was purely because she kind of liked history, you know, but she really loves business studies and economics. So she's done herself proud, bless her. As I'm cutting these off, I'm also thinking, because you can have a squadron of 3 chasseurs. Let's check. Chasseur. Yeah, so you could have a maximum squadron size of 3, minimum 1, but because I've got 4 of the Chasseur Furia sort of things, I could do 3 chasseurs, so you've got a nice chunky unit of chasseurs, which you could field as 2 and 1 if you wanted to make up numbers, split the squadrons up. And then the 4th one you can make as a Furio, just to add as a attached unit to the La Republique. Actually, I better check if La Republique can actually take, because this is something I keep on forgetting to do, is to, I have these ideas, because obviously we all have our favourite types of ships. I don't go for, oh, this one's meant to be really, really good. I don't do that sort of stuff. I go with ones that I think I like the look of that. It feels good, it feels right, Right, that's weird. Let's check the other flagships. Right, okay. Oh, pardon me, sorry. Just checking, because I've done this with my Indian faction ships. I built myself 4 Godaval littoral cruisers when, I built 2 initially when I first got the Ganges battle fleet, and I bought a support squadron for them, well, the frontline squadron, sorry. And what I should have done was build 1 more Godaval, and then the 4th ship should have been a it's the Monitor, the Davrik or something like that. So yeah, I didn't do that. That's my bad. What was the, I'm taking off. I'll be back hopefully near the end of the stream. Rock on, don't forget to ride those mould lions before you prime. Yeah, I'm scraping the hell out of them. See you later on. Does the chasseur get the tasty coordinated support? Oh, I think he does. I remember seeing that somewhere. As long as I've not... Yes. So he gets coordinated support. So the special rules for the chasseur. So traits, alliance, French, skimming, Levant strike cruiser, chasseur class. And I like the name strike cruiser because that's badass. Special rules is agile, coordinated support, focused fire (brackets aerial). So any naughty little airplanes coming along, or missile or rocket, sorry, you can shoot them down easier with focused fire, because I think that allows you to re-roll blanks. For Valor, full steam ahead, Levant, Surge, and Vanguard, which is also a new rule. So focus fire and Vanguard are new rules. So we will look at the bits at the top. So Vanguard, I think that's submarines when we get it, don't they? Starting with player B, both sides are deployed. Each player may choose one of their units with the Vanguard rule and make a free move up to 5 inches. This is not an activation and does not have drift or turn limit. Vanguard alternates between players until all such units have been selected. So that's handy dandy. Focus fire. is when this unit makes an attack that includes an indicated quality, it receives +2 action dice and may re-roll blank results. This may only be used once per quality each activation. So, yes. So additional 2 dice to the weapons for the attack, and you re-roll blanks. It's not bad. Yeah, so it's probably why you get a lot of rockets with them. So, like, this comes with rockets as standard, and you can heavy rocket. Then you've got gun battery. So you've got on the chassis, I think you've got 3 gun batteries. So they sit in there, there, and there, and then that's where the heavy rocket pod is. So, or you can upgrade that into a heat lance, and then into pew, pew, pew. Heat lancettes. Yeah, you say, because sometimes it's not, it's no real benefit having like the high strength weapon, because sometimes it's not needed. Sort of, you get more benefits by going with maybe a lesser strength weapon, but then you get more chances to actually inflict damage, especially with having an additional 2 dice to it. So, for example, let's have a look at the heavy rockets, heavy rocket battery. So, heavy rocket battery, so point blank is 9, closing is 9, and long range is 9, but it's aerial, so that means if you're shooting like a ground, you're shooting a target, they have their aerial defense against the hit, so it's like subs, but it's like torpedoes, where you have torpedo defense, you have the aerial defense, so they can shoot down your shots, sort of thing. So I'm moving stuff around and keep on thinking. So, whereas if you went with like heat lance, they're better at point blank. So you get heat lance is 9 at point blank, 7 closing, and 5 at long range. Heat lance set is 7 and 5. It doesn't have a long range. Gun battery 6, 9, 6. That's a heavy gun battery. Normal gun batteries 3, 5, no long range. So the heat lance set is quite nasty up close. but not so much at range, well, at long range. But then you're looking to be up close anyway. But even at closing strength 5, whereas closing with a gun battery is 5 as well. And it has, yeah, so at closing it's the same as a gun battery, but it also does hazardous and devastating. So devastating basically allows you to, if you get exploders, they count as free damage with devastating, I believe, because that's the thing that you really want. So, because normal exploding dice is 2 plus the reroll, unless they've got ablative armor. Hazardous, then obviously they've got to take stress on the crew and all that, which affects their performance. But yeah, they are pretty much, obviously the lance sets you've got to be up close. Point blank is really good, 7 with 4 support. What's the rolling broadside do? Rolling broadside is only at point blank, strength 5, 3. So it's the same as a what do you call it? The gun battery for strength, but it does have fusillade, broadside, and sustain. So so one of them allows you to re-roll blanks, I believe. So we're going to go all the way up to the top here. So, and right, fusillade. Let's see. Right, so fusillade actions may reroll counter and heavy counter results, provided the lead weapon in the action is at point blank range. Quality has no effect on aerial. Sustained. A roll made with this quality can reroll any one type result, such as heavy counters or hits, from its action. Now, so that's actually, it might only be 5 dice, but you can re-roll everything. So you could basically, yeah. So obviously it depends on what you roll. So you could go, oh well, it's actually better for me to roll under sustained, or it may be better for me to roll, because obviously if it's counters and finger counters, if you roll a load of blanks, then you'd use sustained. If you roll lots of counters, then you would use fusillade. So you've got a much better chance of hitting with only 5 dice, but it is that point blank range, and you can't use it against the aerial. Yeah, so one is blanks only, and the other one, sorry, what's that? Yeah, the Totem Destroyer's got focus gunnery with all their special rules. I think I got something like 30 dice in a pool last week. Sank a spar through in one go. Yeah, that'll do it. That's a lot of rerolls. One is for blanks, and the other one is for counters or heavy counters, and heavy counters. So, so basically, well, one of them, if you roll blanks, so you use sustained to re-roll the blanks. So if you had multiple blanks, or you could re-roll one type. So if, for instance, you rolled 3 blanks, sustained, because you can't use the fusillade. If you rolled 3 counters, then you can use both. There you go. So he does increase, but that is only at point blank range, so that's why you want to get these up close and personal. Plus, obviously, with these, I suppose it depends on your angle, I guess, because obviously you can do like crossing the T, but they would only be with your broadsides and your, although crossing the T, I think you still got to have gunnery. Now, oh no, it's broadside. Well, yeah, no, you don't have to use gunnery. Sorry, my bad. Again, just checking on the Orbat. Where's La Republique? Oh yeah, so it does have heavy firepower. See, the main thing with La Republique, obviously you lose, you're not a flyer, you're a skimmer. But you do gain 4 heat lances, so you have all the same Valor, Frelons, yep, heavy firepower, yep. You lose, you lose some your flak barrage. So you lose your flak barrage, but you still, yeah. But you also gain inspirational, whereas the Vauban doesn't have inspirational. So it's basically 45 points difference, but you are losing your anti-air flak barrage, which because you're a skimmer, I don't know. Well, anything like flak barrage is handy, so you really want to have something nearby that can aid you with that. Because the Sky Fortress, you've got flak barrage 12, which is pretty good, and its air defense value is 8, so that's pretty nifty. Whereas the La Publique's air defense value is only 5. Well, that's the thing. Also, as a flyer, you don't require SDV, submerged damage, the defense value, because you can't be hit by a torpedo. Whereas a skimmer, you can. So, so that, inspirational is okay. You've got the same amount of aircraft as well, and coordinated support. What's it? And the Vauban's got priority signals as well. So it's quite a bit of it's mostly on special rules it's affected, and the fact that you've got reduced air defense with it. Admittedly, you are carrying 5 Frelon aircraft and 6 Malinois strike fighters, so that's quite a hefty aerial threat for both of them. And also, if you're a Vauban, if you're a flyer, you have to increase the range. Hello. Hi there, Judge. How are you, buddy? Sorry, I was just distracted by rules yet again. What have you been up to, my friend? Did you have a good New Year? I know you popped in last week, but didn't really get to have much of a conversation because we were talking about ships. We love a warship. And now we're doing... Basically, Wednesday nights is for Dystopian Wars and Armoured Clash. Hopefully we'll have a bit more talking about ships. Because who doesn't love a warship? You stay there. Little gun batteries. Ba, 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 ba. And so if like air defense is kind of dependent on who you're up against. So in one game I played in my first sort of campaign day that I turned up to at Wayland, I was up against an Imperium player who had the airship, and he's like a good player. You know, he knows his way around a battlefield, and he did this thing where he could, at a special rule or something, he could pay a price or whatever, but he would be allowed to not only launch fighters, but he could also launch a selection of bombers, and bombers give you more dice to damage. So I think they, like, normal SRS get like 3 attacks per token, where you get 5 attacks per token with the what do you call it, the bombers. And obviously any subwords they may have as well. I'll say subwords, but you know, keywords. So they can be a bit tasty. And obviously, if you roll against like a capital ship, you know, you might only have like 10 anti-air, you know, flak barrage or your defense sort of thing. So you want to get as many exploders as possible, because that removes each exploder will remove a token. So, you know, normally you have to go through the fighters before you get to the bombers. So you'll get rid of a lot of the smaller ones if you're lucky. But then it's still going to leave the bombers there to do the major damage, because the bombers will always get through. And that's why they do the big damage, and especially if you've got other special rules kicking in and all that jazz. My Valhalla class fast dreadnought took something like 52 hits, or no, 58 hits from the amount of aircraft and bombers coming in. It was ridiculous. Because obviously you roll your dice, and exploders you roll again. So that kind of hurt, to say the least. So it was very nasty to be on the receiving end, but that's what they're there for. So that one carrier took out a fast dreadnought. Admittedly, I did take out the blimp, but you know, doesn't matter if you destroy it before the planes do their attack run, because the planes will always do their attack run. It don't matter. They're there from the very beginning, and they're the last thing to do damage. Valhalla is rather nice. So I've got the Valhalla, I've also got the Ragnarok as well. Because I got the Ragnarok thinking, because I had the spare parts left over from the Valhalla, because I didn't magnetize it. And I thought, oh, it's the same. It's the same model. It's just they've got a different finish to it, but it wasn't. It's actually smaller. Yeah, fast dreadnought. He's a nippy ship. But it's the same thing with those Scandinavians and Scions. You want to get those ships into close combat as quickly as possible. And boarding actions win games. Well, they can do. It's a good ship at the end of the day. You know, Valhalla. It's kind of weird though, because on the picture on the box art of the Scions of Jutland, it's a Valhalla. and yet the Scions of Jutland can't take a Valhalla. It's only the Valhalla is only available for Imperium or Scandinavian forces. So you can have it as a sort of an allied fleet, but you don't get the benefits of like the rules of the Scions, something like Wolves of the Sea sort of thing. Which is bonkers. You've got like obviously all the versions that the Scions can take are the ones that have the two different versions with the Omnithopter things, the gyrocopters or whatever they are. They've got a couple of named ones. So the Valhalla is a named one technically. So same as the Gloriana. Gloriana is the first of its class, but it's called a Gloriana. But it doesn't feel the same because it don't make such a big deal about it. So there you go. There's your Dreadnought, Gloriana. But it is HMS Gloriana. Whereas, like, you see, like, the Vauban Sky Fortress. And then you have La République as well. And, you know, and other sort of ships. Ships of the line. What else? Ouch, that hurt. Bugger. That's me being cocky.
You're on YouTube watching chill lo-fi hip-hop.
Oh, what are we doing here? We don't want to have like all this sort of business going on with all these like adverts. No. Oh, I must have heard to listen to it all. Bloody hell. I think having a lead ship of the class is a very Royal Navy thing to do. Well, yeah, again, because that's evident with the Victory aircraft carrier. So you've got a Victory, but you've also got the Ark Royal. And then you've got Britannia? No, the Britannia, because you've got a Britannia class battleship, but if you got, so if we come out of here, go Crown, all bat. So you've got the Britannia heavy battleship, but then you've got the Indefatigable and the Phaeton. Camelot High Guardian. You've also got the HMCS Tillock Galt, which is the Canadian version of the High Guardian. Then you have the Gloriana Dreadnought, but no named one. You've got the Protector Submersible Carrier, and you've got HMCS Sonasha Can, or Nan, or whatever it is. So they've got, okay, Victory class carrier. You've got HMS Ark Royal. So the Britannia has 2, Avalon has none. The Adventurer Grand Indiaman doesn't have anyone, because that is a variant on the Gloriana, I assume, but it's the East India Company one. So yeah. So you only have HMS Gloriana, because it's Gloriana class. He says, looking up US Navy battleships and immediately proving himself wrong. Well, no, because you had the USS Essex, which was a carrier of the Essex class. So you're kind of right in that respect as well. But then, like I was saying earlier on about Warspite was a Queen Elizabeth class, and the first one of that class was the Queen Elizabeth. So in British naval doodars, it's right. Actually, the HMS Indefatigable was, I think it was a carrier. I think that was sunk at Scapa Flow, he says. We will find out. HMS in it was Indefatigable was sunk during the Battle of Jutland. She was hit several times in the first minutes of the run to the south, opening phase of the battle cruiser action. Alright, so she was no, she was a carrier. Oh no, that was World War II. So you had a carrier version. Yeah, so she was a battle cruiser in World War One, and then right, okay. So there's been obviously several indefatigable The first one was in 1784, was the 64-gun third-rate ship of the line, launched in 1784. Razed to a 44-gun frigate in 1795 and broken up in 1816. The ship was popularised by C.S. Forester in the early volumes of the Hornblower series of novels. Then there was HMS Indefatigable, was a 50-gun fourth-rate ship of the line, ordered in 1832 but cancelled in 1834. HMS Indefatigable 1848 was a 50-gun fourth-rate launched in 1848, loaned as a training ship after 1865. See TS Indefatigable, training ship, and sold in 1914. Then you had HMS Indefatigable 1891 was a Apollo class second class cruiser launched in 1891. It was renamed HMS Melpomene in 1910 and sold in 1913. Then you have HMS Indefatigable 1909, which was an Indefatigable class battle cruiser. Launched in 1909, was sunk at the Battle of Jutland in 1916. And then you had the last one, which was HMS Indefatigable brackets R10 close brackets, was an Implacable class aircraft carrier, launched in 1942 and scrapped in 1956. So, yeah, has the name Indefatigable has several battle honours. So Virginie, Dretz de la Homme, Basque Roads, Jutland, East Indies, Pelham, Okinawa, and Japan. Finally, so yeah, we've learned about Indefatigable. So Indefatigable being a battleship at the time of dystopian wars makes sense because it was a battle cruiser at that time, or second-rate grand cruiser. So it makes sense. Yeah, I thought they had States class battleships like Texas, but she was a New York class alongside USS New York. Yeah. So as we know, the first of its class is is the class name. Simple as, really. Although saying that, I don't think the USS Enterprise, because the original USS Enterprise wasn't the first of its thing. It was USS Constellation, because it was a Constellation class, the 1701 one. Because then you also had, like, so there must have been a USS Galaxy then. If you've got a Galaxy class, there must have been a USS Galaxy. I'm going to look that up. USS Galaxy. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Damn it. She was the prototype of her class. Yeah. USS Galaxy NCC 70637. Thought I caught Star Trek out for a second there. Right. Hello, Lee Mortis. I love visiting HMS Caroline in Belfast. Funnily enough, I enjoyed visiting HMS Belfast in London. Actually, I saw her I was down in London. Well, I've been in London obviously quite a lot, but down by where she's moored was 2023 was the last time I saw her. That was the first time I've seen her in a while, like up close. I've seen her from distance, but I was actually like literally, well, it was on the other side of the Thames looking across at her. But I still remember going on her as a kid. My brother took us down there to see her. And she was in the Second World War. She was actually quite a modern cruiser. There was We Have Ways podcast when Al Murray and James Holland went on board and got a tour. So you learn obviously from their like main historian on board, told you all this, like the backgrounds of it and all the information that you wanted to know about it, really. Yeah, same as Voyager not being class lead. That's the Intrepid class, yeah. I think they deliberately avoid that, so you don't get like HMS Voyager class. They like having the two different things, but then again, it could be, as they also done with the Galaxy, that was the prototype of that one, so they give that name of the prototype. Oh, I haven't put the turrets, the stacks. So yeah, what do you call them? Chasseur. Two Chasseur class strike cruisers. Whoa. Oh, so. Oh, yeah, there is a hang up in there. Right. Well, that's going to be me for tonight. For one is always tired. And also it's still a bit cold and damp out there, so it's no good for trying to spray in that condition on these things. So you want it to be nice conditions for spraying. So I'll say for now then, thank you very much for coming to hang out. I managed to cut myself. That's healed up though, that's alright. We had some nice chats about warships, which is always good. And we got 2 strike cruisers built. So I'll be sorting out like the magnets and all that anyway, after the fact. And then I can switch Aruni all the different weapons in there. So the missile pods or heat lancers. But they're quite nice little ships. I like them. Don't know why I've been putting them off for so long. You know, it's nice to actually get your hands into them and actually, you know, build the bloody things. But yeah, so it's nice that we've actually finally made a start on the Alliance, French part of the Alliance. Okay, we've got 2 aircraft carriers, but still, they've got no support, and they need support. So yeah. So what else am I planning on working on in the future? Well, Legion Mortis, we have, so this Saturday, this Saturday, probably be back on Legion's Imperialis. I've got a Thunderhawk up there which needs some attention, which it was one of my Christmas presents. Or there is 8 Saber tanks. So one of them to be going. There's also, I've still got some Legion Dreadnought drop pods and some Rhinos up there. I've also got a Reaver Titan, so it's the last Reaver Titan for my Gryphonicus, so that really needs to be sorted out at some point. But yes, yeah, so this Saturday it's going to be Legions more likely, or it might even be the Reaver. I don't know, I haven't done a Titan this year. Anywho's, as I said, thank you very much for coming to hang out, and we'll be back Saturday, usual time, 8 PM GMT, 3 PM Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be back into the Horus Heresy with some either Titans, Thunderhawk, or tanks. So 3 choices. Who knows what could happen? So until then, I hope you have a wonderful Legions for them. Yeah, well, yeah, I've got to build up the Legions, didn't I? So I've also got Mechanicum I'm still working on as well. So there's a lot to be getting on Saturdays for Legions and Adeptus Titanicus. So plenty. But hey everyone, don't forget, like, subscribe, press bells, all that sort of stuff, what all the cool dudes that are proper YouTubers would say. It'd be much appreciated. Helps with the algorithm apparently. But as I said, thank you very much for coming and hang out. It's been a lovely little stream today. What Legion will the Hawk be? Emperor's Children. So that's where that's going, because I've got one for my Imperial Fists. I'm a bit short on aerial transports I've got drop pods for them. So I've got infantry drop pods, and I've got dreadnought drop pods, and I've got another pack of dreadnought drop pods because I've got a lot of dreadnoughts and artillery bits. So yeah, they definitely need a Thunderhawk. I may even paint it purple, because most of my other vehicles are in that sort of charcoal grey, because late Heresy they stopped using the purple paint, saved the purple paint for the armour, and put the sort of grey on their tanks and vehicles for the most part. I kept all these skimmers in purple just to be different, but big tanks are the charcoal grey. Right, so yes, until Saturday, I shall bid you all adieu from our French friends in their strike cruisers. So take care and happy hobbying.